Hello everyone, welcome to the first CS184 discussion. Today we're going to go over building and setting up projects for this class and then do a little bit of C++ and linear algebra intro. So let's get started. So if we come over here, here's my repository for this first project. So I'm going to get the link and I'm going to go wherever you want on whatever folder on the command line, and we're going to go ahead and clone this. So once it's cloned, we can go into the directory, see what's inside, a few files, a C++ file. What we're going to want to do is make a build folder, go into the build folder, and these instructions are all for Mac. So if you have a Windows, check the repository and there should be some instructions there for you. So once we're inside this build folder, what we want to do is run cmake ... to tell it to go one directory up and look for the cmake lists file. So I'm going to hit enter. It's going to run through, make sure we have everything we need to build this repository. And then once that's done, we just run make and let it run. Okay, so once this is done, what we can do is run /quad test to see if it worked. And so there we go. We see the quad just like we should. And so we know that that's working. Perfect. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and go into this and do a little bit of C++ intro. So you can go ahead and open this folder in the text editor of your preference. I'm using Sublime. So here's that build directory we just created. This graphics library we'll be using. And so the file we're interested in is quadtest.cpp. So we want to go here and implement matrix vector multiplication without using the inbuilt graphics library function. So what we're going to want to do is to visualize this, we can come over here and look at this. So this is essentially what we want to do, a 3x3 matrix times a 3D vector. And so if you look here, and it's okay if this isn't totally clear to you, we're going to do a little bit of a linear algebra intro on Thursday, so that should help clear up these concepts. But as you can see here, the top value in this new vector is a linear combination. So basically it's a times x1 plus b times y1 plus c times z1. And so this vector is essentially a times the first column plus b times the second column plus c times the third column, just like this, as it shows right here. And so all we want to do is basically take this and put this into code. So you can go through the CGL library, which is right here. If you go into source and matrix 3x3, you'll be able to see all the different functions available to you, so accessing, finding the determinant, norm, subtracting, all of that. And so what we're really interested in is accessing. This will give us one row of the matrix, which is exactly what we need. And similarly, you can come down here to vector 3D, and there's not much here, but if you go into include and vector 3D, you can see a lot of the functions here. Okay, so we're interested in the accessing functions, which is just the bracket operator. So if we come back here, and now what we want to do is implement this in code. And so let's delete this. And so we want to do the first element of the vector, so it's going to be input at 0, times the first column of the matrix. So it's going to be matrix at 0. Then we want to add that to the second element of the vector times the second column of the matrix, and then add the third element of the vector times the third column of the matrix, and that's it. That's matrix multiplication right there. Once again, don't worry too much if you don't understand this completely right now. We'll have a linear algebra intro on Thursday, and you can go more in depth there. So now that we've done this, let's try it. So we're going to come back to the command line, go back into the build folder, and run make again. So this time, see, we only changed one file, this quadtest.cpp. So rather than rebuilding everything, it's just going to rebuild that one file. So it's done building. Let's go ahead and test it out. So run quad test, and there we go. Our quad is rotated, exactly what we want. So our matrix multiplication is working perfectly. And so that's really all for the discussion this week. It's a simple introductory discussion, mainly just focused on getting your computer set up. I'm going to go ahead and now walk through the same setup instructions, but with C-Line, just as an example in case anyone wants to use C-Line. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come out of here, go into a new folder for C-Line. Whoops. CD C-Line. Okay. And then what we're going to do is going to clone the repository again. Okay, so now go ahead and open up C-Line so that it looks just like this. Welcome to C-Line. And then come here to open and import. Click on that. We can come in here, so come find the C-Line, find the repository, hit open. So it's loading. Okay, so once it's here, so if you check right here, you can see the same files, the CPP file, the CMake lists, all of that. And so all we want to do really is come here, click on the top level directory, and click on this hammer button. This is the build button. So if we click that, it's going to go and start building just like it did on the command line. Okay, so it's done building, and so if we want to go ahead and run it, we're going to come back up here and click on this green play arrow. That's going to go ahead and run it for us. And so there we go, we have the same original unrotated rectangle. And then if we close this, so within C-Line itself, we can edit the code. So if we come right here and implement exactly what we did last time, so multiply first element times first column, and so on, so forth. Okay, so we can go ahead and then build it again. Okay, done building. We're going to run it again, and there we go. It's rotated just like we want. So that's all for discussion one. We went over both C-Line and the command line. Next discussion on Thursday, we're going to go over some linear algebra and probability intro that will be helpful for this class. So looking forward to seeing you then.